Hello anime lovers, here is your captain. Today we will know a little bit of the history of the anime, MIDARA DEKINAI, so if you like it click the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to be part of the crew. Ao is the top student in her class. Her only goal is to finish high school and live a modest life alone and go to national university. Kijima is the most popular guy and tried to make conversation, but she gets angry because there is a huge crowd of perverts around her and that men only think of women for things like that. If there is a hole they will poke it, and that Kijima came to her because he was thinking of doing perverted things, so she starts to imagine and ends up running away. She said that if Kijima keeps insisting, will get in the way of her studies, and that next time she'll just say she hates him. Her father is a writer of kinky novels, and in the new neighborhood he is known as the Master of Pleasure, and his house is called the House of Sensuality. Her father gave this name with a very kinky meaning, and because of this she suffered some bullying in her childhood. She comes home and says she doesn't want to talk to men today, and he understands that she is in her fertile period. The next day she decides to tell Kijima that she hates him. The coach asks her to take his uniform in the infirmary. Because he sprained his ankle, she goes in and hands him the uniform, but when she starts talking, her father appears at the window supporting a romance between them, thinking they would do kinky things in the infirmary. To avoid Kijima seeing her father, she ends up falling on top of him on the bed. They both get embarrassed and he asks her what she was going to say, but her father pulls her blouse with a fishing rod and Kijima goes on top of her looking like she is going to attack her, but he just covers her with a blouse. He says he wouldn't do something like that to her because he loves her. Ao is shocked and starts imagining perverted things with him. The next day she hears a friend of Kijima saying that his toy is huge because he has big hands, and says that his is average so as not to hurt anyone. She doesn't understand why she would feel pain. Kijima goes to greet her and she gets scared imagining the size. At home she asked her father if a guy who has a big toy makes it painful for a woman. His father says yes, and that in some circumstances it can get stuck and have to call the ambulance. She gets scared and says that basically it is a lethal weapon between her legs, and that once she confirms the size she will refuse immediately. At school she tries to go dressed in a style that seems focused on her studies so as not to draw attention, but she ends up standing out even more and they say she looks really sexy. Kijima invites her to lunch, so they go to skip class on the roof, and she takes advantage that he is sleeping to finally check the size, and that she just wants to see how big he is and that it shouldn't be a crime to do that. But he holds her hand and says that she can touch it if she wants. She then notices that his hand is quite big. She thinks that this is the perfect time to say that this won't work, and then he asks her what her answer is about the "I love you" that he had said to her. She says that it wouldn't work because there is not enough room inside her and it is impossible to get inside. He tells her to think a little before rejecting him. He wants her as a girlfriend, but she thinks it is just to do perverted things. She says that she will think about it and starts exchanging messages with him. Her father asks about the boy at school and decides to help her and tells her to pick out her favorite costume. Her father then sends her the textbook instead of the English book, and she starts imagining nonsense. Kijima decides to study together with her, that gets irritated and they accidentally exchange their books. She notices and goes to meet him. He thinks that she wants to study there. He says that he didn't imagine that she read something so intense and asks her if she wants to do it right there. She imagines that he is talking about kinky stuff and that they are outside with many people. She thinks that he must like to be seen. Ao says that the books have been exchanged and is to return it, but he starts teasing her. Kijima says that she is so cute that it makes you want to tease her. He says that this book makes it clear that she wants to learn English, so she realizes that she was thinking something totally wrong. When she goes on the school field trip and the girls in class hear Kijima saying that even irritated she is cute, and they decide to invite her and Kijima to a party at night. She then starts to think that they want to see them together, and she starts to worry that her panties are valuable and that she will tell Kijima to refuse to go to the party. She enters the room but hides in the closet when she hears Kijima's voice. He tries to open the door and ends up grabbing her leg and says that it is warm and soft. He asks where he touched her because it was strangely soft and even smells good. She pushes him, telling him to wash his hand, and ends up falling on top of him, and everyone in class watches the scene. Later they meet up to go hiking and go together. She's tight so she goes to the bathroom, but she gets scared saying that she saw ghosts, but it was just a glove. By accident Ao leaves her skirt up. Kijima then decides to give her hints because if she talks directly she will be embarrassed. He is trying to avoid looking, but he can't, so he takes off his shirt. She thinks that he wants to tie her up and see everything. She gets scared and falls down and says that she knows what he wants, and that is for at least him to be nice. He helps her and says that she is very important to him. She thinks he is going to kiss her, but Kijima just ties his shirt around her. She asks him why he did that and he says that it is because he could see her panties. Ao receives a letter with a picture of Kijima and her father says that it was a girl who gave it to him. She gets angry thinking that he has a girlfriend and still approaches her. Then Ao starts to imagine that he wants to do a threesome and that he is no good and that she doesn't even know how it works, so she goes to take satisfaction but he is playing. The girls in class ask if they are boyfriend and girlfriend, but her coach interferes and says that. When Ao goes to tear up the picture, she is stopped by Miyabi, the girl in the picture who studied with her when she was little. Miyabi says that Kijima liked to go to the club and that he was super respectful and that she rejected him as her boyfriend and Ao can take him for her. Kijima calls Ao to explain himself, but she says that he doesn't need to explain himself since they are not boyfriends. She says that he is just messing with her. Kijima says that he is not, but if she thinks so then he won't bother her anymore. Ao sees Kijima next to Miyabi and starts to think that he proposed to her. She asks her father when do boys lose interest in who they like. He says it's when they find a pretty girl who accepts them first time. She and her father leave and he hands her the manual with his female alias and sees Kijima on a date. Miyabi is following this manual and says that she won't lose to Ao and the next step is to take Kijima to a dark place. Kijima ends up finding Ao in the dark and she follows him without. She tells him to go back to his girlfriend. Her father calls her and is surprised that she is with a man. She says it's normal and he says she's taking it hard, so they both get angry. Miyabi wants to take Kijima to a motel next time to make a real picture instead of a montage. She asks how things are with the girl he likes. He says he's worried because he doesn't know her feelings. Ao is running after the two of them to watch them. Miyabi asks him how things are with the girl he likes. He says he's worried because he doesn't know her feelings. Ao is running after the two of them to watch them. Miyabi says he's worried because he doesn't know her feelings. Miyabi can't stand it and says that Ao doesn't like him, but she does and that her feelings are true and kicks him and makes him go into the hotel. Ao is in the shower and can't stop thinking about what they must be doing. She then ends up passing out. When she wakes up, Kijima is in her room and says that her body is beautiful. Her father is at the door narrating as if writing a book about them. Kijima went to visit her and ended up carrying her to her room. He says he is nervous and Ao asks if it's not normal for him to be in a girl's room. He says no, but she doesn't believe him because he's popular, so Ao says that he saw him and Miyabi kissing entering the hotel. He then begs her to listen to him and shows her that they don't accept minors in the hotel. Kijima says that he put his hand over his mouth when Miyabi went to kiss him and that he only wants to do it with the person he likes. Ao says that he should say that to everyone, so he says that he's still a virgin and runs out. Ao is shocked but happy with the news. Kijima is embarrassed and avoids her at school. Ao says he now has the upper hand since he has the knowledge of his father's pervert manual. A friend of Kijima asks her to help him with English and she accepts since she must be kind to virgins. They go to study and she realizes that her father wrote another book, this time for men to talk in English. She thinks he will ask her to teach him about the relationship between man and woman. He says she is very cute and smart and Ao starts to think that it must be his first love and asks if he is sure she is his first time. Kijima says all this is very obvious to her. He approaches her and asks if these things are routine for her. Ao answers no and it would also be his first time. She answers no and asks him if he is sure that she is his first time. Kijima says that all this is very obvious to her. He comes closer and asks her if these things are routine for her. Ao answers no and that it would also be her first time. She gets scared and runs away crying. The next day she goes to the festival with Yabi, her father's editor, because he has to take pictures of melons to inspire him. She ends up getting lost and finds Miyabi and says she looks quite cute, but she is only doing this to stay close to Kijima and for him not to find out about her father's job. Yabi introduces himself as a freshman at her father's university. Kijima says that he as a freshman is too close. Yabi says that he has visited her house numerous times and doesn't remember his existence being mentioned. Miyabi then pulls him back to work. Ao then thinks they are dating and that Kijima is too close to Miyabi for whom he has nothing. Kijima takes the break to find her and starts asking about her relationship with Yabi and gets worried. Yabi calls her and Kijima gets angry and holds her and says her not to go and that he is still talking to her and runs off. Kijima says she makes him lose control. He can't take it anymore and will make her fall in love with him. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews of the best anime. A kiss from your captain, and until next time.